So Starfield has been pretty quiet over the past couple weeks. I've been vocal about that here on my channel, saying there's not much to talk about and trying to keep engaging conversations where I can about the game. Watch other Starfield content, you've probably realized it's gotten a bit stale. But I have some good news and some bad news to share with all of you today. Depends on perspective. Everything, ladies and gentlemen, is a matter of perspective. Remember that. There's also a couple new tiny tidbits of details that are out and about that I want to share with all of you today, so let's get started. How is it going, everybody? My name is DeMarco, and first up, Gamescom. It's coming soon, it's coming quickly, and Microsoft has already explained they're going to have a massive presence at this event, which is pretty damn cool. We get a lot of stuff over here in the United States on this side of the pond. We get E3, well, we had E3, we have Summer Games Fest, we have the Game Awards, and so you guys over there on your side, you can have your time to shine, and Gamescom seems like it's going to be a pretty stacked event. Titles like Stalker 2, Payday 3, I think Mortal Kombat 1 as well, and of course, Starfield. It's also going to be making an appearance. But was it enough to just show up with Starfield? No, it has an entire theater event behind closed doors. That's the bad news part. Behind closed doors theater event showing off more of Starfield for people that are attending Gamescom. And I say it's good news, bad news. Good news for folks who are able to get into the event. Good news that Starfield's getting that promotion. Bad news because we're blocked out of it. But it's not entirely terrible. There's still hope, my friends. A light at the end of the tunnel. We'll probably see a lot of this information in the weeks after it gets revealed at Gamescom. A lot of people have been critical about the marketing of Starfield, something I find so astronomically stupid, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. Spoiler alert, most people on the internet don't know a thing about marketing. But you take the good, you take the bad, and there we have more Starfield information probably coming pretty soon. I'm sure afterwards of this event, there's of course going to be members of the press that are there that will be reporting some exclusive stories, interviews I have no doubt will come out following the Gamescom event as well. Admittedly speaking, I'm sure some of you out there will agree with this. I'm not all that worried, even if we never get to see this footage. If it never sees the light of day for the public, I'm fine with that. I feel as though when it comes to Starfield, I've had my cake and I've eaten it too. We had 40 minutes of gameplay footage for Starfield at the Starfield Direct event, and honestly, that was enough for me. I'm sold. If anybody is sitting after that event, if you walked away from the Starfield Direct event and you're thinking to yourself, I don't know, maybe if they released 50 minutes of footage, I'd be convinced, then let's just call a spade a spade. You probably were going to wait for reviews, or hell, some of you might even wait for a sale. Nobody's judging, that's totally fine. But the Starfield Direct, and most people generally agree, it did a good job showing off the game, what you can do, what you can't do. For the majority of folks, it really wouldn't have made a massive, make or break buying Starfield difference. There's a bunch of folks trying to criticize the marketing of Starfield, looking around, trying to use it as an angle as to why Starfield's going to suck. Quite honestly, it's just ridiculous. Often I see it compared to Spider-Man 2, where there's buses plastered and billboards out in the open with the game. It's all just stupid console war stuff. But beyond that, I'm just being honest, the top selling game on Steam right after the Starfield Direct, and I checked today, it's the number 4 in the top sellers list for Steam games. It's doing perfectly fine. Collector's edition, constantly sold out. If you see people complaining about the marketing, just understand they don't know what they're talking about. I also have some small bits of Starfield information recently. Jamie Mallory had an interview that's over on the Bethesda blog, and she's the lady, if you don't remember, who made the platypus ship and was obsessed with the sandwiches. I love when these tiny bits of personality get to shine through. Here it's the sandwiches with Jamie Mallory. Before, it reminds me a lot of Akumi Nakamura when she revealed Ghostwire Tokyo and everybody just fell in love with her because it was charming. It's fun. I like that stuff. Some cool tidbits of information did come out during this Q&A. It was asked, do you have a favorite aspect, quest, character, moment, theme of the game you're currently working on so far? And she responded by saying the amount of content packed into these faction storylines is truly astonishing. It's like embarking on a grand adventure within an adventure, where every choice you make and every interaction you have shapes the course of the tale, the character development, the plot twists, the moral dilemmas. I've been completely hooked. It's as though you read my mind, just cherry-picked the exact things I would want to hear. The divergent quest lines, the choice and consequence, the epic faction side quests, which personally I often find are just as, if not more enjoyable than the main quest in the game, so I'm sold. I love to hear this type of stuff. The question still does remain exactly how far that choice and consequence does actually extend in practice. It's one thing to hear it internally from the studio as they try to promote and get people excited about their game. It's another when we actually get to play it. We do know Bethesda confirmed that you have the divergent paths that a faction can possibly take.
You're influencing the direction of where this faction is going to go. So say the politics of the Freestar Rangers, right? You know, what's more important? Is it justice or industry?
Whether or not, I've discussed this in the past, it comes down to just one single choice you make at the end of the game, or if it's a culmination of a bunch of decisions that you make that determine the final outcome for a particular faction, can really, to me, make or break the actual immersion that you had a choice to begin with. I don't know if any of you agree, there's nothing less satisfying to me where everything you've done actually doesn't matter. What really does matter is what you do with the last final A-B choice that you get. It sucks! It doesn't stop there, there's also some other good information. The fan favorite, highly requested mod is now becoming... And the other bit of good news that I get to leave all of you with today, this is probably the most important news I'm going to be reporting all week, so strap yourselves in. You're going to want to be seated for this one. Mission boards are officially confirmed to be making an appearance in Starfield. During the interview, it was stated, quote, "The terminals added a layer of depth to the game, usually giving players more insight into the story and lore for the area they're currently in. The mission board also kept us on our toes, ensuring players had exciting challenges to tackle while exploring the cosmos." Mission boards, it's such a simple addition. The terminals we already know is a common thing for Fallout or just notes in Elder Scrolls, so that's not really new, but the mission boards is such a simple but useful, practical idea. It'll probably be powered by the Radiant Quest system that we've seen in the past. This is where you would pick up random missions or bounties from the Innkeepers or the Jarl's Stewards in Skyrim, for example. But now you walk into New Atlantis, you see a mission board, you pick up some fun objectives. It's not meant to be the central part of your story. It's not even meant to be the main focus. It's just something to, A, get you out there exploring new locations, to tell you, hey, here's a cool place you can go off and visit with some cool stuff that's going to happen, and just so happens you'll get rewarded for doing it. And you stop at these locations on your way to the more interesting quests, the faction quest lines, the main quest line, whatever it might be. How evolved is this system going to be compared to kill this NPC, find this item? Are they going to be able to introduce more complex types of missions to go on? Again, it's meant to be supplemental, which is fantastic, but I still want them to be a bit more interesting than kill generic enemy. Although I'm not gonna cry if that's the case. I might cry if that's the case. One more little featurette for those of you who stuck through to the end. Thank you, by the way. You know the Ashta, the cross between the Velociraptor and the wolf that we heard about years ago and then never heard about again? Here's your first look at them. Pretty cool, terrifying designs. It's awesome to see that they have the bat-like ears, considering there's no eyes that I can tell on this creature. It's that little bit of design that makes them feel a bit more believable. I like that. It's all for my immersion. Everybody knows immersion is the most important thing in a Bethesda game, and if you don't have that, it's not a Bethesda game. Do you care if we get to see more Starfield or don't get to see more Starfield until launch? Let me know your thoughts down below if you agree or disagree with what I said here. But thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I hope to see you all next time. So long, everybody.